What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the ORGS podcast. I'm your host here, Anthony Silva, and we got the perfect guest here today. If you were watching this past weekend, there was actually a mini with 100 people in it, 100 souls, and only one person can make that happen. So had to bring my boy on. You already know he's plays orgs. He hosts his own Reality Miniverse, and of course he dips into the LRGs as of recent as well. So let's give it up for my boy Michael O'Rear. What's up, brother?
What's up, Anthony? Thank you so much for having me. I know we've talked a few times on this podcast already, but I've told you on those podcasts, I was so excited to do like the official interview. So
Yeah, for
super
sure.
stoked to be here, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. I always love to have you as a guest, and of course, I think we have good talks. And again, you make friends in these orgs, and so you're definitely a friend that I have cherished since I've met you. So love all your work, and again, this is why I wanted to bring you on here. And of course, we got a lot to talk about because as of recent, you've had your last couple games have just been crazy good. So we can get into that. But of course, before we go into all of that deep stuff, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what do you do, like, and of course, how did you get into all of this org mess?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Michael O'Rear. I'm 30 years old. I have three kids. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, so super stoked for the Survivor event coming this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been into orgs for over a decade, maybe even. I think over a decade now. I started playing orgs on Instagram, and it was. I think even now, if you know what Instagram orgs are, it's completely different than what it was back then, right? Like, we would play Survivor games, but they were all anonymous games, right? Like, you have an account and all that, but you basically play as a Survivor player, right? So,
Nice.
like, for instance, I loved Jonathan Pinner at the time, so every time I would sign up for the game, I would be like, "Yo, I want to play," but I want to play as Jonathan Pinner. So everybody would have like their alias, right? And That's how I really got started. And it was very shortly after started playing that I was like, I almost like the production side of this more, like just seeing how they run it. So I started hosting games on Instagram, and I did that for a long time. And then, after a few years, I ended up hosting minis on Twitter, and that went really well. And then I took a break, and then came back to Facebook, and that's what I do now is Reality Miniverse, hosting very similar minis with the Facebook community, and it's been great.
Yeah, so one of my first experiences with minis was yours. Because when I came into all of this, I did 3 long games straight pretty much. And so I didn't really dip into minis at all. And it was actually Nathan. Nathan hit me up and was like, "Hey, I got this mini tonight. Like, it's Big Brother. I know you like Big Brother. You want to try it?" And I'd heard people talk about minis. So I tried it and did pretty good. But then I saw that you came up. It was a tentacle game. I believe was the first one,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, "Yup, I'm gonna try that." And I just had a blast. And then every game that you've had out after that, if I haven't did it, I would tell you, "Yo, I'm gonna do that game," and then I'd back out if I had to because of work purposes or something. But for the most part, I've tried to play all of your games. You have a very unique concept, very unique styles, and very unique twist to what already are games like Survivor and Big Brother. But you also have created some of your own as well with some of your prod members that help you and have created theirs as well. So it's a big line that you have going, and that you've created. I guess what? How long has it's been? 1 year, right? So
It's been 1 year. 100 Souls was the 1 year anniversary of Reality Miniverse, and yeah, it's changed shapes a lot. And we do have a very distinct way of doing things, and oftentimes people like don't always love the way we do things. But I'm like, listen, there's so many minis out there. There's so many long games. Like, if this doesn't fit you, you're more than welcome to go check out some of those, and maybe hop in every once in a while if it suits you. But I think a lot of people, my games are known for, I think, number one, they're one room games. There's never any breakout rooms.
yep.
Number two, there's limited competitions. And if there are competitions, there's no supplies required. And I think the big one is 3 hours. All my games are 3 hours. It doesn't matter if I have 12 people or 100 people, I'm going to get that game done in 3 hours. So,
Yeah, it's weird to hear you say 12 people in 1 year games because your most recent games you've had like I think 64 and like 48 and now 100. So like to hear you say like, oh, I'm gonna have 12 players tonight. That just sounds like
Well,
it's
to
already
be
the
fair, we
end.
haven't done 12. 12 was like I think maybe like our fourth or fifth mini. We did House of Villains, and I recruited a bunch of people from the Ori community, and it
Nice.
was really hard to cast for actually because I wanted it to be like authentic villains, and yeah, we only ended up with 12 in that one. I think that was our smallest cast. I think now you can expect at least 20 in any game. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, again, you handled it very well too, though. All within 3 hours. I was in the 100 souls and I saw the whole thing. So, and you definitely, I mean, of course, there's always going to be probably things on your end, but if there was anything on your end that was going wrong, you didn't show it. Nobody could tell. You know what I mean?
right.
And I thought this back when you did, I guess, Tentacle Game, the first one and the second one. I think both had like 60 something players. So and that was like wow, that was crazy because it was just so many people on the screen. So when I opened up the 100 souls, I was like, holy, like it was literally
You and
it,
me both.
yeah. I mean, there was 3 pages completely full, if not more. I just got lost at some point. I couldn't find half the people that were talking to me, but it was a again, it was a great game. It was fun. Like you said, a lot of people might not agree with some of the things because at some point, like 20 people can go at once, and they didn't even do nothing necessarily. But like that's just the point of the game, really, and that's really the chance you take, anyways. Of playing with 100 people, there's only going to be 1 to 3 winners or something, you know. So, um,
You
but
know
yeah,
what? So this is funny because you said something to me in a past interview where you asked me like, "Yo, why don't you give away cash prizes sometimes?" And
yep,
I took that to heart. I was like, "Listen, you know what? I think that we can, especially for like a really special game. I think I would be willing to do that." So we gave for 100 souls. I gave $100 to the winner.
nice.
But what I realized was when there's money on the line, people are way more passionate. You know, like you might get screwed over in a tentacle game and it's not a big deal. You can just
Yeah,
log off and it's nothing. But when you get screwed over in 100 souls with $100 on the line, people get upset. And there were definitely some angry people with me at the end of it. But, I think my big thing is like, transparency number one as a host. I think that's always been so important to me. I design my games so that nobody can say you rigged that, right? Like everything is out in the open. There's no trickery going on behind the scenes. Anything that happens is either luck or kind of on you.
yeah.
And um, when you put money on the line, people get really invested. And they're like, wait, that wasn't fair. And it's like, well, no, it wasn't, but it's never been fair. It's just the difference is now you're upset you don't have $100.
That's true. That's true. And look, I've been in I do dance, right? So I'm in dance competitions a lot, and especially in my past, and they're for cash prizes. Like so, I know what it's like to like go hard for what you're trying to earn. And so this is why I've said it, that orgs, although a lot of people come just to play for fun, there's always going to be the games that are for fun. But for the people that are a little bit more serious and want to play some poker, like this is let's go. Like let's put some money on the line. Whether it's you putting your own money on the line in like a pot, and then you play for that, or there's some type of bigger prize, which I don't necessarily. I mean, we could talk about that later, like how that can be, but those cash prizes. But
Well,
but
hold
I
on,
think we
because
can.
you mentioned something interesting to me.
What's
So
up?
are you a poker player?
I have in my past. I
Okay.
stopped gambling a long time ago.
Okay. Well, good for you. That's probably smart. But and I'm gonna put this out in the universe because I'm like still trying to figure out if people would be interested. But I've always wanted to do some sort of poker mini, like poker with a mix of social strategy. Like
Yeah.
maybe if you win a particular hand, you get, I don't know, you're the HOH that round, or I'm a big poker fan, so
No,
I don't know,
yeah.
just putting
I
that
didn't
out
say
there.
I wouldn't do it. I just said I haven't. I haven't. I've
I
never
think the
did
other
it.
thing is I probably wouldn't do it for gambling. Again, it would still be just game for fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, you know.
Well, again, everything you do, it's especially with your stuff, like testing it is good, you know. So like when you did your first tentacle game, you already knew how to run your second one, like because you know. So
Mhm.
I think if there were these cash prizes, obviously there would need to be some test runs on these games to make sure that all angles are covered. Because of course, like you said, it's more serious and people will be upset, you know, if it's kind
Right.
of if there's anything shifty or whatever. But yeah, 100 Souls. Also, what was it? Famished Games XL. That was great because that was 48 people, but there was a lot. It was all in teams.
Right.
So I know 100 Souls was in teams as well, but this was the first one you did with teams because you had your first Famished Games was with two people each, and then this one was with four. So they just brought another aspect. Again, lots of people on the screen. A lot of things went down, a lot of twists, and again, you just keep them coming. I do notice that you use some of the same ones in certain games, like whether it's a game or just a format. But I like what you do is you take a little bit from each of your formats in your bigger games, and that's kind of how like you run them.
Well, I appreciate
Um,
that. Yeah, and I think it's interesting because like when I first started, I was like, I'm gonna do Big Brother and Survivor and like House of Villains, right? Like TV shows that are established. But as I've
yeah,
started to do it more, I've started to realize I don't have to lean on TV shows, right? Like I can do my own thing and people still come and play. And I think that's really cool. And what you're talking about is like far as like recycling some twists and doing different things. Like at this point, it's not Survivor, it's not Big Brother, it's Reality Miniverse, right? And there's some
yeah,
things that can be come to expect with that, and sometimes I'm going to hit you with something completely new. And I think it's like kind of the grab bag nature that people really enjoy because there were a lot of people that sign up for 100 Souls. They're like, I don't know what this is. Like I've never done anything like this. This doesn't make any sense. It's not based on anything I know. And I just tell them like, listen, that's kind of the point. You're not going to know. You're coming in like with a fresh mind, and I'm going to walk you through everything. You're not going to be confused in the moment, but for now,
yeah,
just be uncomfortable with the mystery.
yeah. And another one we can't leave out, which was very unique and different, and was the Miniverse Olympics. So that not only was that you had a representative from different countries from around the world, we also did commentating during it as well, and it just had a bunch of different aspects. And I think that was another one that was very good. And if anybody hasn't seen that, that's again, you might not know everybody on there, but go watch it. It was really good, and there was a lot of great gameplay in that one as well. So y'all did really good with casting on that one, because there
I
was a lot of people
appreciate
I
it.
hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I was very focused on there was some in each game as horrible as they go. Try to take something and walk away with it. And I'll just say I learned a lot from the Olympics game, and I'm just really excited to do it again one day because I think I did learn a lot. I think the element of like the medals, giving people medals and like kind of a point system throughout the game, I really
yeah,
liked that idea, but I think it was
yeah,
confusing to a lot of people. And
yeah.
I'm really excited to do it again when it's a little less confusing.
I do like. I had thought about this doing like a point system somehow. I do think that that'd be good for to keep track necessarily, like almost like a record,
Well, you know
like a
what? So
season.
yeah, one thing that I've come to realize after hosting things like Famish games, Tentacle games, I feel like a lot of like org creators, and maybe not necessarily like if you're just hosting a Survivor game, that's one thing. Like yeah, you want to follow the Survivor format, but like if you're hosting your own game, I think there's one thing that I had to get comfortable with was that I'm not going to be exactly like Survivor or Big Brother. Maybe there's not a jury. Maybe there's different ways for people to win. Maybe there's a way that multiple people can win. Maybe there's a way that
Yeah,
nobody wins, right? Like, and that's one of the things that I've had a lot of fun like playing with in this space is like, yeah, it doesn't have to be final two, 7-person jury. This is how it goes. Like, I like the idea of kind of playing with the concept of how somebody can win a social strategy game, and like Olympics actually I think was a really good example of like a lot of people, especially when you watch these shows, they might say better jury or this person didn't deserve it. But it's like when you lay out these parameters in this point system, the person that earns it or did the most is going to win the game. And
yeah.
I really like playing with that concept.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think that helps a lot because there is sometimes there's bitter jurors. I've been a bitter juror before. There's also
Same.
uh, friends and stuff like that as well, and
Yeah.
I've done that before too, voted for my friends and stuff like that. And so like I think with something like that where it doesn't necessarily have to be a jury, if it's in your own hands somehow. This is why I love the challenge because it's just the finals. You just got to run through it yourself, and whoever gets their first wins. Another thing too, like again, you have a lot of ones that I don't know if you're gonna do them again or not, but I gotta call them out because I like them. Which was like The Apprentice was dope. That was real fun, and it just brought another aspect of like of game, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so obviously I love Squid Game. Oh, you just did All Stars as well. So I'm telling you, there's been like three or four in a row where whether they're unique concepts or just um, celebrations of Reality Miniverse, because you did All Stars and then now you had the 1 year anniversary. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been going down.
Yeah, and that's
But
the thing. Like All Stars
go ahead.
and games like that, it's not based on anything, right? It's just it's twists that I've gathered from different games or things that I've seen or concepts I've come up with on my own that kind of come together. And it, again, it's not. This isn't Deal or No Deal Island. This is Reality Miniverse. This is Reality Miniverse All Stars. So come
Yeah.
in here, get the grab bag, and have a good time with it. So
You know
yeah.
what it is? It's yours. Your minis don't feel like minis. Your mini feels like a whole season in 3 hours.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like you
You know what I
saying that.
mean?
Appreciate that. Yeah.
I think it's because we're all on screen and we don't leave each other, and so like you don't build with just A and B. You build with everybody, no matter what, because you have to just hear each other and see what everybody does and all that. But anyways, another thing that I've noticed recently is the LRGs, whether you've just been around them or in them. And I want to talk a little bit about that because basically the last couple of guests I've had on, they all have been doing LRGs as well. So I think I'm just missing out, and
Yeah.
I need to step into that game right now. But yeah, just talk a little bit about maybe if you can some of the ones you've been to, helped with, or been in, and
Yeah.
how has that been?
Okay, so well, I'll start from the beginning because actually I've played LRGs for almost as long as I've played orgs. The problem is I just don't play them as consistently, right? So
Gotcha,
the
gotcha.
first time I played an LRG, I think was 2014. It was Surviving Reelfoot Season 2. I was
Oh,
19 years old. I'm now 30, so yeah,
oh.
I'm much older than I was back then. That's
Dang.
on YouTube if anyone wants to check it out. It's
So
kind
they've
of
been doing it for
embarrassing.
that long?
Yeah, yeah. And
Wow, that's amazing.
that was
Shout
season
out to
2, so
them.
I guess they got started like 12, 13 years ago ish. So but again, like it's never been like the constant that online reality games has been, because I actually really fell in love with Reelfoot, and I felt sort of like a loyalty to Reelfoot, where I'm like, I'm only gonna play Reelfoot. Like, I'll play this one time. If they ask me to come back, I'll play again. I did come back for a returnee season, which was super dope. Um,
Nice.
but it wasn't until recently where I was like, what am I doing? Like, I think in my mind, maybe like when I was younger, I was like, one day I'm going to be on an actual reality show. Now I'm 30
Yeah,
years old. I'm much heavier. I'm like, okay, why am I holding back? Let's go play some LRGs. And
for sure.
I've since done Big Brother Hogwarts, was a great game. I did Big Brother Columbus, which it was probably the best experience I've had in LRG. Probably just because I did the best in that one. Finding idols and blindsiding people.
How
It
far
was
did you
so
make
much
it in
fun.
that one?
I got so actually Big Brother Hogwarts and Columbus. I got fifth both times. So my last two games,
Nice.
pretty good. The difference
Yeah.
was in Hogwarts, I did nothing. I didn't win a single competition. I was just kind of floating around. But then Columbus, I kind of became public enemy number one. I had to find idols, and it was a lot of fun. So I had a really good time with Columbus. I think I gotta say though, like shout out John Wells. John Wells creates an incredible thing. If you're looking for a weekend game, like 100%, that's the way to go as far as Columbus goes. But my true love is always going to go back to Surviving Reelfoot. I know they're casting right now. This is the closest experience you're going to get to the real show, right? It's 8 days. You get limited food. You're sleeping in the elements. It truly is. I know Danny was just on here recently talking about it. I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
it is the real deal, and I'm on production every single year. I'll be there if you play. You'll see me. It's so much fun, and I gotta give some love to Reelfoot.
Yeah, I'm honestly scared of that one. Cause the
It's
last one, yeah,
legit.
Danny and everybody was just telling me what was happening. Oh, not what happened. And
Yeah,
so it's yeah. I feel like my first one should be indoor, so I might just
good
do a Big
call.
Brother one.
Good call.
No,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely. Well, Big Brother's my game, anyways. But I would want to do. Actually, I got asked to do one. I believe in Oklahoma recently. They just reached out to me out of nowhere, and it was like a couple days away. And I guess they didn't have. They didn't. Somebody had backed out, so and they had reached out to me, but I just couldn't make it. but I think it was 2 days, so I could do 2 days for
Yeah,
sure.
easy.
8 days, you got to prepare for that because, again, like you said, we all wish we would be on these shows. This is like not everybody, but for the most part, like every I've tried, and so Big Brother and pretty much the challenge were the two that I had always wanted to be on. So something like Survivor, I mean, you have to really be into that type of stuff, and if not,
Yeah.
you really have to be into that show for sure and know a lot of like what comes with it to do well in it. So, but
I think
yeah, I definitely
the
think my first
challenge
LRG
games.
should be a Big Brother one.
Yeah, I think the challenge games are really interesting and not for me at all because despite making it fifth in Hogwarts, fifth in Columbus, 11th in Reelfoot, I've never won an individual challenge. I'm not good at competitions, but I'm a huge fan of the challenge. So, like, as a fan, I would like love to do that, but I don't think I stand a chance in something like that.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I guess that's something that I've always like pushed myself. Like again, I go hiking a lot and I do like Spartan races and all these things. So it's just something that's more attractive to my style of, I guess, gameplay would be
For
comps.
sure.
So, but
Well, I
everybody has
cannot
their own
wait.
strengths and weaknesses. Just because you haven't won
Yeah.
many comps in the LRGs you've played doesn't mean you haven't played a good game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to get fifth place twice, I mean that's not bad, and you obviously played well to get that far, whether you're floating or finding idols or whatever.
For sure.
So orgs, LRGs, I mean, you host them, and then of course you play games too. I notice you kind of just dip in here and there. There'll be times where you'll play for like 2 weeks, and then there'll be times where you won't play for 2 months, and uh, and I know
Yeah.
that people need that too. You kind of need that break sometimes, especially with you hosting as well. So I just play games, but I guess I do the podcast as well, which is work. Is definitely
Right.
work. But yeah, I know sometimes you need that. You just need that mental break, as well as us just having our lives in general and work and stuff like that, family.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm. This. Here's the thing. Like, reality TV in general, whether it's hosting games, whether it's talking about it, whether it's watching it, it's my passion. It's always been my passion. It's been my passion since I was 6 years old. I love this shit. This is my favorite thing. But I also have a full time job. I have 3 kids. Like it is a lot, and I also don't want to be the guy that's like, wow, this guy plays every single game. You know, like so. I try to if I'm gonna play, I want to make it special, and yeah,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I get that. I get that because there are people that play a lot, especially with the minis, and there's there's just so many available as well too. So many people are willing to do them, and so almost like we were talking about earlier with poker. It's like your friends hit you up, let's play some poker, and just let's do it.
right.
So yeah, I used to play a lot of poker, but the thing is with dancing, like it always was number one. So anything else I dipped into, I just never really dipped into it fully.
Mm-hmm.
So like poker, I played it. I probably could have been better and really good at it, but I just didn't give it the time, and other things along the way, like Spartan races and stuff, and you get all these sponsorships and things like that, and so. But again, now I'm playing orgs,
Yeah, right.
and so I've been putting in time and effort into that. But a lot of it is because I just see the potential in it. Look, I started breakdancing like when it was not big, when it was nothing. And look, it was literally just in the Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And now you see it in all these ads. You see it in all the breakers out there with my friends, Victor, all those people, Jeffrey. Literally, they're all in all of these ads, and they've been in all these TV shows and all these things now. So I saw it grow from what it was us just practicing at the schools and with our friends in the different apartment complexes and battling them to what it is now. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what I see with orgs, and I've only been in it for a year. Literally, this is my year. September's my I got
Hell
into it
yeah.
last September, so it's 1 year for me too as well. But I saw the potential in it from the beginning. Not only because I like reality TV and all the games, but I saw what it did for people as well too. So And it's a platform for them to be whatever they want to be, whether it's themselves or if it's some other character. But you know, like either way, it's bringing these people together. So I saw the potential. I still see it, even though it's been around for 10, 15 years already. You know,
Right.
but that's how like Breaking was. This is why to me it compares so much because Breaking was around since the 70s, but it didn't get big till like the late 90s. You know what I mean? It was big in its earlier years, maybe like ORGS at the beginning or whatever. But now it's popping everywhere. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So and I always compared also dancing to wrestling, which I also compare orgs to wrestling because wrestling has so many characters through all of the years and everybody plays their roles, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how orgs is. Everybody has their characters. Again, whether it's them playing themselves or if it's them playing some character just because they want to be like that, good, bad, whatever, you know.
Oh
So
yeah. And no, I think that's one thing I've always really respected about you, Anthony, is like you're very similar to me in that like you look at a thing and you're like, this is awesome. I'm so glad people are having fun with this. Like, this is incredible, but it can be more. And I think that's the thing
yeah,
that I've always had my eye on is like, how can we make this more? How, like, I see people that they'll host on their private Facebooks and like they want to keep it in that circle. But like for me, when I do this stuff, like I want to open it up to every possible person, not just the people that want to play, but the people that want to watch. I think that's been my number one priority as a host is like, and that's the reason I make so many decisions like I do. Like I don't like breakout rooms because people don't get to see those side conversations. I like to have it all there. It's all about the viewing experience, and I really have always had like this hustle to like open it up to a larger scale. And it's only year one, baby. We're still going.
there's so look, I've learned you just have to be consistent. Consistency is the key. This is what I did with social media. This is why I have like 1 million followers on TikTok and half a million on Facebook. Is literally because I stayed consistent
Hmm.
through when it's up, it's great. When it's down, it sucks, but you still have to do it regardless. And so this is what I see here with the orgs, whether it's playing it or help build it. But this is why I do the podcast because when let's just say some eyes out there catch on to what this big thing is. Literally, I just saw the other day. I think Santi posted that one of the LRGs he had went to was in the New York Post or
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah, Wall
But they
Street
did an
Journal,
article
maybe.
on it. Literally, they did an article on it, and so like what happens if some people see that, like some corporation, some billionaire, some whatever, and they're like, huh, let's invest into what this is. They're gonna come looking. They're gonna say, who has games? Oh, who has podcasts? Who are the speakers? Like they're gonna come looking for those things. You know what I'm saying? And so it has to be, and with the LRGs too, like these, like Real Foot, boom, you're in the front of the line. You've been around for 15 years or whatever, 10 years, and
Yeah.
killing it. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna trust you. They're gonna trust you if they say, "Hey, we want to do one of these things. Can you help us or whatever?" So that's the point of it. Like that's what people gotta understand too. I know a lot of people say it's just fun. It's just games. This means nothing. This is not real life. This is, and sure, that's true. But at the same time, it doesn't mean it can't become something like a poker. Poker's not real life. It's
Yeah.
it's just a game, but people live that shit for real, like and so it's the same situation. It's the same thing right here. So, and it's just like reality TV. If you get on Big Brother once and you never get on there again, guess what? You're gonna go live your life.
Yep.
But like so, again, it can be something if you want it to be. It's whatever you make it. You just gotta manifest it and all those things. So. And you can't please everybody. That's
No.
one thing I've learned. You can't please everybody. It's not gonna happen, and so
You
you just
gotta
have to
have
do
thick skin. You gotta have thick skin for
that
this
too.
stuff.
That too. And you just yeah. You just gotta do what you do, and So, but anyways, yeah. That's another thing too. Is I do think that there's gonna be something here soon where this becomes just a little bit bigger. So,
Can I make a
uh,
comparison real quick since we're
what's
talking
up?
about poker? I don't remember what year it was. I think it was maybe 2003. Basically, World Series of Poker always been a thing, always kind of been a niche thing, right? Like not a lot of people watched it. It wasn't
Hmm.
considered like by any means a sport or anything like that. But there was this guy named Chris Moneymaker who came onto the World Series of Poker. He was an amateur poker player. World Series of Poker, it's like $10,000 buy-in. There's like 400 people playing. It's like the biggest tournament that you could go to. All the professionals go, right? But there's this guy, Chris Moneymaker. He comes in, knows very little about poker, and he dominates. He continues to dominate day after day after day. He gets to the final table, and then he wins the whole thing. And that's what they call the poker boom, because people started to realize this everyday man can go out there and play against professionals and be one of the GOATs. And I think that all the orgs need is their Chris Moneymaker. So if you're on the fence about playing orgs, if you're on the fence about starting your own org, be the Chris Moneymaker. Go out there, set a name for yourself, and bring home the money.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because again, there will be eyes on it. Look, literally, that LRG was literally just in the New York Post, you know. So somebody was looking, somebody saw it, somebody was exposed to it, and so they wrote about it. And so anybody can get online at any time, look it up. Like this is why you got to have your stuff on YouTube. That's why how you've been posting your stuff on YouTube. Like that's good because when people look for this stuff, guess what they're gonna see when it pops up first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and that's a whole nother thing. I can school everybody on how to use their social media platforms correctly. Uh, and like hosts maybe like hosts that
Yeah.
really like have multiple platforms and stuff. Um, yeah, that'd be something cool we can do like one night, just get together and just kind of share some of the that information. You know, there's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff that comes
you've
with
had
it.
way more success than I have, but I do really like that concept. The idea of like growing your brand is super cool to me. So I really respect all that you have accomplished in your dancing and even this podcast. So I
Well,
have a lot of
appreciate
respect
it.
for that. Yeah.
Appreciate it, and same to you. Obviously, with Reality Miniverse. Look, also you just came out with some with your brand, with your clothing brand too. So you were letting out some shirts. So again, that's taking a step and forward and a step like with just you have hope for this. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, little by little, step by step. I always say, one day at a time, one step at a time, and we just got to continue to do it. And if nobody else does it, then we try. You know, we're here trying. And if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, then we just had fun and we
At
gained a
least we
lot of
had fun.
experience
Yep.
doing a lot of different things. You know, and meeting
Yep.
a lot of people that we'll probably know for the rest of our lives now. You know, so
Yep.
um, yeah. So. But anyways, man, I know we could talk forever. I don't want to keep you too long. I know we wanted to talk about all the games and stuff, and again, I'm definitely gonna want to interview you again and talk about other things. I know there's a lot of others. I know you have a lot of ideas, a lot of things coming up, and with this towards this second half of the year. Well, it's already the second. It's already what are we? September? Like,
I know,
geez,
right? Here we go.
like literally. Um, but yeah, lots of stuff that's gonna come up, and definitely want to talk to you soon. You know what would be dope? Actually, to do a live interview. That's what we need to do
Ooh, that
soon.
would be cool.
Yeah, I've been wanting to make my way out to Tennessee because there's just too many people I know there to not go over there and just, for a quick, just a little
Yeah,
quick vacay.
there's a handful of us over here, so yeah,
I
come hang
know,
out.
I know. I see y'all. I see y'all. And then y'all got that Survivor thing going on this week, or what?
I
Next
know.
weekend?
I can't wait.
Like,
If anybody's at the Survivor event, hit me up. I'll be there.
yeah, like, see. That would have been a perfect time to go, but that thing just popped up. So
Yeah, yeah.
make sure you follow at Reality Miniverse on Facebook and on Instagram as well, right?
Instagram and YouTube, those and Twitch, obviously.
Th-
Those are our three.
that's right. See, yo, you need to make a graphic for that and put it up. That should be
You're
your
right.
header.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good call. Hey, can I plug
Um,
something real quick? I wanna talk about our upcoming game, if you don't mind.
no, go for it.
So we are hosting on the 20th. It's called Concordant. This is the second time we're doing it. I'll give you a brief rundown. Basically, all the eliminations in the game are decided unanimously amongst the cast. So everybody but the one person getting eliminated must agree. If they don't agree, then somebody is eliminated by random through a wheel. So it's a very interesting social experiment. There's no competitions. We did it before. It was super fiery. It's on our YouTube if you want to check it out. But I'm super excited for the second season. And I don't want to tease too much, but there might be some really big names on that cast. So come out and play. I think people would really enjoy it.
You already know what time it is. Reality Miniverse, hit it up. It's got the best minis out there. And yeah. So again, I want to bring you on again soon when we have some more stuff coming up. But like I said, a live interview will be it. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna be the next one. So got to start moving that way. But anyways, yeah, I'll let you go. I appreciate you coming on. And any last words?
No, that's it, Anthony. Again, thank you so much, and I look forward to when we can chat again.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.